have a question for you. Where are you letting other people's opinions, perceptions, and judgments hold you back? In today's episode, I explore how you might be letting your ego hold you back from creating growth in your business. So make sure you stick around and we can stop you from holding yourself back from the business and life that you dream of. Reflecting a lot lately on why we do the things that we do. And while I'm a pretty down to earth person, I realize there have been some areas where my ego has been holding me back. Now, on the face of it, you might think similar to me. You might think I'm not a really egotistical person. I don't think that this applies to me. But let me share some examples of how this might be showing up for you in your business. Maybe you are letting the opinions of others stand in your way. And an example of this might be around your pricing. I know that this is where I realized that because of my ego, I hadn't wanted to put a Black Friday offer out there. I said, my business is a premium brand. I've got a premium product. I don't want to discount for Black Friday. But when I stepped back, I realized, hey, this is the time of year where people do play around with discounts and offers. And if I could park my fear of judgment, if I could park my ego around how it might look, what people might think, I realized that I could actually create a really fantastic cash injection into my business just before the Christmas period. And also that I can help and serve more people rather than saying, I've got to do things the way that I've always done it and being really worried about people, what people might think and how they might judge. So maybe this is relevant for you. Maybe there is something that you can do differently in the space of pricing. Maybe you need to put your prices up. Maybe you could put your prices down. Maybe you could create some sort of special offer. But it's just one area to start to explore and really lean into, why will I not do this thing? Is this genuinely in the growth interests of my business, or am I letting my ego stand in the way? The next area where this might be relevant is there might be something that you want to create or launch or put out into the world. Maybe you've always thought about launching a course, but again, your ego gets in the way and you think people are going to judge me. Maybe you're worried that your clients might judge you. Oh my gosh, if I go and launch a course about how to build a website, I'm going to lose all of my website clients. You're judging yourself around that decision. Another area that this might be showing up for you is in the space of your marketing. And particularly, I'm thinking about social media here. I know that I have worked with a lot of clients of mine over the years in getting through that fear of showing up on social media. And a lot of times this fear comes from a place of being worried that we're going to be judged. What will my family and friends think if they see me dancing on a reel or posting about my business? They're going to think I'm up myself or too big for my boots. They might laugh at me. Here's the thing though, we need to market our business. And the truth is, some people are going to judge you and laugh at you and criticize the things that you're doing. But at the end of the day, I strongly believe that people doing more than you aren't judging you. And if you can park your fears around perception, you are potentially stepping into a whole new area of growth, a whole new world of potential dream clients who are willing to pay you more money if you can get past that fear. And really, that is your ego standing in the way that's holding you back. Another area where I see that people are limiting their potential growth in business is by refusing to get help. Now, this can be in the form of not outsourcing tasks, being like, I don't need a VA, I can do it all myself. I don't need help with my marketing. I am excellent at marketing. Refusing to acknowledge that you need help might actually be the very thing that is holding you back from making more money. So again, it's this fear, it's our ego that is standing in the way. Another area is actually being able to get support. I know, again, I'm going to put my hand up here and say that this is something that I struggle with. As a coach, as a mentor, as a money expert myself, sometimes it's hard to say, hey, I want to hire some help. I want to hire a coach myself. Our ego steps in and says, I can do this. I can figure it out. I don't need any help. But that very decision might ironically be holding you back from making more sales, growing your business. Being able to ask for help isn't shameful. In fact, it might be the secret to your success. Some other areas that this might be relevant to you, maybe you are avoiding having tough conversations with either your clients or people in your world, suppliers perhaps. Again, this is something I do with my clients a lot, is saying, hey, you know that this is a misaligned energetic match in terms of the financial exchange here. Why don't you have that conversation? Maybe this is sticking up for you. Have you got a client that just absolutely takes the mickey out of you? Have you got a supplier who you honestly don't actually want to work with anymore, but you feel guilty? Oh, your ego is standing in the way. You might also avoid having awkward conversations around potential collaborations. I know some pretty amazing and powerful businesswomen who've actually shared that this is something they struggle with as well. They struggle to say, hey, would you like to have me on your podcast? Hey, would you be able to do a collaboration with me? Again, I know that this is an area where I get a little bit uncomfortable asking people for things. I like to help people myself, but it's hard to ask for help. And maybe this is relevant for you. So people pleasing, sticking to outdated strategies, not getting expert help, all of these can be areas where you are, of course, not intentionally, but holding yourself back from building a bigger business, from making more money. So if any of these are resonating and you are thinking, oh my goodness, that is me, I didn't even realize that I was letting my ego get in the way of up leveling. How do you actually break these patterns? How do you actually create change in this space? So here's the first thing that you're going to do. Number one, recognize the behavior or the pattern. Next time you are letting your client walk all over you, you can say, hey, actually, this is not in our contract. Or actually, no, that doesn't feel aligned. Or yes, I am going to charge you for that extra thing that I always throw in. Recognize the pattern or the behavior is the first step. Notice when you're doing it. Then ask yourself, why do I do the thing that I do? Why, when an opportunity comes up for me to speak on stage or hire someone that I know is going to help me in my business, why do I say no? Really start to dive deeper into the subconscious programming or beliefs that is actually behind that decision. This is why this mindset work is so important. It's because we don't even realize we're doing the things that we do. And this is what you're doing in this process, giving consciousness to the action that we take, giving consciousness to the behavior that we undertake. And then diving a bit deeper and being, I wonder why I do that. Oh, now I know why I'm such a people pleaser. Because in my childhood, my parents were so intimidating that I just learned to say yes. I learned to be a people pleaser because that was the easiest option I had as a child. I've realized the reason why I don't seek expert help is because I'm the oldest child and I've always been the leader and done things and not asked people for help. Now it makes sense why that is my default way of thinking. Now, this is where we can actually start to flip those subconscious beliefs, the patterns, the habits, etc., on their head, is we start to explore what you are missing by doing the thing or not doing the thing. This is where you can start to really challenge your brain and say, hang on, look what you're missing out on here. By not collaborating with people, you are potentially missing out on tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue in your business because your ego is too big to ask someone to collaborate with you. By refusing to hire help and say, hey, actually, I need a bit of help in this space. Again, what is it that you are missing out on? And it might not just be money. You might actually be missing out on the opportunity to streamline your time. You might be missing out on the opportunity to work less hours because you're so caught up in the thing that you do without even realizing that you're doing it. So really start to challenge your brain and say, hey, if I had that uncomfortable conversation with my client who's taking the absolute mickey out of me, what would that mean if they left and I then had that space to get more dreamboat clients who are going to pay me what I'm actually worth? Really start to explore what this looks like, what you're missing out on. And then last, but definitely not least, is take action. Do the thing that scares you or that your ego is holding you back from, particularly if you now know that there's an opportunity that lies behind that, an opportunity to make more, be more, have more freedom. Actually take action. Do the thing. Again, this is an area I've really been challenging myself around coming into the new year, into 2025. What's the thing that I'm scared to do? And just going and doing it, understanding why there's fear, resistance around it, but then taking that leap. Now, to be clear, I get that doing things different is scary. Whether it's hiring the coach, the team member, showing up on your social media, I'm not pretending that this is going to be easy. But here's the thing. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you are listening to this podcast, there's a reason for that. It's because you do want to build a wildly wealthy business. So I encourage you to explore, where is your ego holding you back? And can you put your ego aside for the pursuit of big growth in your business? If you enjoyed today's episode of the podcast, I'd love to know what you think. Please share it to your Instagram stories and make sure you tag me so I can say a big thank you.